I am thinking about why God uses us. Why does God use us? Why does He invite humans to help build His kingdom? We are sinful, imperfect creatures. We don't have it all figured out. We don't have much figured out. It's debatable what we are figuring out. Believing everything is a gift from Him, and the rain falls on the just and the unjust, then without God, we lack some things. We lack a lot of things. We lack intelligence. We lack discernment. We lack awareness or emotional intelligence. We have blind spots, and we lack correct perception of our strengths and weaknesses in relationships. We talk before we listen. We speak before we think. We are harsh, rash, unsubmissive, lacking self-control. We send men to their deaths so that we can sleep with their wives. We are David and Bathsheba. We procreate evil to get what our hearts most want. We build our days with frivolous things. We spend our hours working for food that doesn't satisfy and wine that cannot quench our appetite for ambition. The things that occupy our minds revolve around leisure, youth, looking good, consuming, acquiring more. We need more parties, more events, more shows added to our Netflix queue, more shoes, better bodies, more likes, more reach, more money, bigger houses, a better roster for fantasy football, more time off, a longer vacation, and even an extra shot with extra whip. Not too hot, please. And yet, God pursues us. He loves unconditionally, and His tanks of forgiveness are limitless. His stores of goodness are waiting to be released. He allows us to wonder as He patiently waits and prays for us to return home to the shelter and embrace of His heart. He puts circumstance and people in our path to reflect His love and glory. He knows we're distracted by our phones, our screens, our news feed, our priorities. So He interrupts and intercepts our day-to-day with physical reminders that there is something more to life on earth, giving us a hint and a chance to step back into His intent for us. He uses physical reminders of people, a friend or a family member, often our children, sometimes a stranger, to prick our interior, then see what behaviors we manifest. He wants to warm our cold hearts, to make empathy pillows from our hearts of stone. Through these human relationships and interactions, He invites us to consider what really matters, to consider why we have been given life on earth and what is our purpose, and what do we need to submit daily, hourly to Him to see that purpose fulfilled. He wants us to love and bless many, inviting them to the kingdom on earth, being the kingdom to others on earth. Whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do it all for my glory. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, my King. Why does He invite us into His presence? Why does he treat us as royal sons and daughters? Like Solomon, Joseph, Ruth, the prodigal son, the woman at the well, the harlot. We are like Judas, who betrayed him. Still welcome at the Last Supper, still invited to communion, offered food and drink to the very end. This breaks me. It's astounding. God's enemies are outside the gate, and we are with them. He prepares a table before us, invites us to leave the enemy behind and come to his table. We make his fantasy football draft, even though our weekly point average is negative. He sees our upside. He knows what is possible for us when powered by his Spirit. He gives us bread, wine, nourishment daily by his hand and his effort. His wounds, his love make our striving mute, irrelevant. He empowers us to receive the more we have been killing ourselves to obtain. Every achievement, hope, or longing realized without him is fruitless penance compared to the satisfying inheritance given to us freely without striving. And back to the question, why does he invite us to his kingdom? He cannot not be glorified. In the end, he will not be worshiped. He sees us as sons and daughters. Knowing he has stored up an inheritance for us, he wants his children to win, to come into the joy and knowledge that inheritance gives them. With inheritance, we are rich, happy, free, taken care of, possessing the more, living our dreams, not wanting to be anywhere else except at his table, even in times of trouble. In the throne room, wandering the gardens, strolling the courts and halls of his palace, welcoming others into the hospitality and graciousness of his kingdom castle, safe from the hounds and armies of the enemy outside the safety of his heart fortress. By welcoming the imperfect into his kingdom, he nullifies striving and human effort to achieve the more. We are dead without him. And anyone in the kingdom reveals his power and glory, raising him more prominently. By forgiving, using, and blessing imperfect vessels, he makes his perfection radiate, bringing joy to all those in his kingdom, compounding exponentially as these same builders become physical reminders to all those still lost on the path of seeking the more.